Are we live? Is YouTube actually gonna work for me today? Is it actually gonna do as I ask and like keep me here? Hopefully it is. Welcome to Tone's Take. You know who I am. I'm your boy Tony. And man, do we have a lot of stuff to cover today. As you can probably guess, what I'm gonna lead off with, if you can't tell by the title, is this piece of awesomeness back here. So if you don't follow, things like aerospace and rocketry and SpaceX or NASA, you probably did not hear about this amazing technological feat in human history where SpaceX, owned by the billionaire eccentric Elon Musk, launched the largest rocket built by humans. I believe it's the largest built by humans. At least it's the most. It's the largest that's been successful. That's for sure. Twice as powerful as the Saturn V rocket, which launched the Apollo missions to the moon, or maybe just one Apollo mission. But it launched and it successfully was able to bring the reusable rockets back down to Earth successfully, and it launched a payload of a car into space. And that's what we're seeing right here. This, as you can see from this just beautiful footage, is a Tesla. It's Elon Musk's Tesla right here, floating in space on its way to Mars with a fake spaceman in here. And I don't think it's fake. I truly do believe that Elon Musk has been playing us all. He murdered somebody a long time ago, and he's been trying to dispose of the body. And he finally figured out a way. It's a very elaborate way, but he said the only way I can get rid of this body is to put it in space. And guess what? He just did it. That's been his goal since he founded PayPal, was to get rid of his body, and that's what he did. And that's why you see the "Don't Panic" sign on the little screen here. It says "Don't Panic." Yeah, because there's someone in there, and so they're staying really calm. But no, this is freaking amazing. This is Earth that we're looking at right here. That's Earth. That's planet Earth. That this car, that this Rocket Man, or it's called Starman, is looking back at. This payload is on its way to Mars. So it just amazing. So I thought I'd lead off with that. Here is, and I hope my sound is good. I hope I got all my sound checks and everything. So here's the launch. We just gotta watch this. It's just amazing. I'll turn it up for you as well. Let me turn it up here. Just absolutely glorious. So let me turn it down. So what you're seeing here is basically three rockets that are propelling this payload into space. Um, and the most important part of this was that
towards the autonomous spaceport drone ship, and in the two bottom screens, you've got the side boosters headed back towards Cape Canaveral Air Force Station.
so the most important part of this was getting the rockets to land back on Earth successfully. And as you can see from a lot of this footage, what you're gonna see here is perfect precision landing of the two exterior rockets. I mean, it's just like poetry in motion watching this, and just to see how far we as a civilization can come. Just watch in this upper corner right here. This is just beautiful. The landing burn starts, retrograde thrusters to slow down the rocket as it's coming in. Two rockets at the same time. I mean, this is just like synchronized swimming. It's just beautiful. And you can just hear the roar of the SpaceX employees as these two rockets successfully land. I mean, just how far we have come as a civilization it just blows my mind. And I went to school for aerospace engineering, so seeing this type of stuff is just amazing. Now, I don't think that the main rocket actually was able to land successfully. I haven't heard anything about it, but still, 2 out of 3 is not bad for what they were trying to accomplish, especially when Elon Musk was saying that he thinks the whole thing just might blow up. So, and then just these beautiful live views of this of Starman floating in space. You can see the reflection of the Earth and the side panel of the car, and it's just amazing. It just blows my mind. So I had to lead off with that because that was amazing. But I want to keep in the theme of space and talk about Star Wars because a huge announcement was made by Star Wars today, and I think it's going to be awesome. Game of Thrones creators David Benioff and D.B. Weiss are going to write and produce a new series of Star Wars films. What? What? Like, granted, The Last Jedi sucked in my mind. It sucked. I mean, it wasn't as terrible as what the rating is now, but it was pretty darn bad. So to see now that they're bringing in like the big guns from Game of Thrones means that they really want to see this franchise be successful. Um, I, I I don't know why they gave Ryan Johnson the helm for his own trilogy. I think that was a mistake, and I hope that whatever Benioff and Weiss do, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be epic. They should just make a TV series of Star Wars. They should just, as soon as Game of Thrones ends next year, they should just start an HBO series, call it Star Wars, do something. I would love to see like 6 seasons of a Star Wars TV show. That would just really blow my mind. But it looks like they're going to get a trilogy. So what this is saying is, the new films will be separate from both the episodic Skywalker saga and the recently announced trilogy being developed by Ryan Johnson, who wrote the poorly acclaimed Last Jedi. And so David and Dan are some of the best storytellers working today. Yeah, you bet, said Kathleen Kennedy, president of Lucasfilm. Their command of complex characters, depths of story, and richness of mythology will break new ground and boldly push Star Wars in ways I find incredibly exciting. And I think we all are going to find that incredibly exciting. I just hope that they don't put too much of the what would you say, incest and Star Wars, because I think Game of Thrones was so heavy with that. But please give me everything else. Give me everything else that Game of Thrones had. Give me the epic fight scenes. Give me the suspenseful and the tense conversations that took place. Give me those dark, gripping, just gritty scenes. I hope that they push this. I hope they really push the bounds of Star Wars to where it's never been before, because this is just awesome news. So I look forward to seeing that. It gives me something to live for. Finally, But no, this is awesome. This is just amazing. And so that's that. Now, yesterday I reported that there was a such thing as Lady Doritos, because the CEO said that there were going to be, specific Doritos catered to the female audience. Apparently now, Doritos and PepsiCo, they're backtracking. They got so much flack for this. I mean, just looking at this article, here's what they say: we already have Doritos for women. They're called Doritos, and they're loved by millions. So obviously, they got spooked by the Twitterati, the folks on Twitter that started to attack them. So you see this from Justine Raymond. I'm still laughing about Lady Doritos because I don't know a single woman who doesn't knock back the crumbs in the bottom of the bag. And other ones, women, we want equal pay for equal work and an end to sex discrimination in the workplace. Society, here's a bag of Lady Doritos so you won't have to crunch too loudly in front of your male colleagues. And so what I'm seeing here is maybe what Donald Trump does a lot of is what Pepsi tried to do. They sent out I can't remember what it's called, some sort of balloon. They wanted to send an idea out. Maybe it was called an idea balloon. They wanted to throw an idea out there and just see how it may be received by the public. So yeah, when the CEO said, and she clearly said this, she said they don't like to crunch too loudly in public, and they don't like lick their fingers generously, and they don't like to pour little broken pieces and the flavor into their mouth. That's what Miss Nui, the CEO of Pepsi, said about women. And so she was asked whether PepsiCo, which owns Frito-Lay, the manufacturer of Doritos, if they were planning a male and female version of the chips. And Miss Newey responded, it's not a male and female as much as are there snacks for women that can be designed and packaged differently. And yes, we are looking at it, and we're getting ready to launch a bunch of them soon. I mean, you can't get much clearer than that. They clearly said they're looking at it and they're getting ready to launch, which means that they're making something. Something has to be in the works. As the CEO, I don't think that you would just throw out something like that unless you get mouth diarrhea like Donald Trump. And maybe that's what happened. Maybe she just started talking and it sounded good to her, so she kept talking. And now we're seeing things like, you know, what if Lady Doritos is just regular Doritos, but when a woman buys a bag, she only gets 77% of the chips a guy would. Or to compete with Lady Doritos, Lay's has designed a new chip especially for men. It requires them to understand enthusiastic consent before they can open the bag. And to me, these comments, they're so caustic. We all know that we are in a time where we are fighting for equal rights for women, for all the underprivileged, for all the underserved. Yes, we're fighting that. I don't think there is anything bad about Lady Doritos. If a company wants to sell a product that they think will be of a benefit to certain people, then why can't they do that? Why are people getting so angry, and why are they comparing this to women's rights movements? Pepsi is not responsible on their own for all these things that we want to see. One lady wrote, okay, we do not want Lady Doritos, Lady Laxatives, blah 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 blah. We do want Lady Prime Minister, Lady Leaders, Lady Pope. PepsiCo is run by a lady leader, so that covers one thing. There are many lady prime ministers, so that's another thing. And maybe one day there'll be a lady pope, but I don't think Pepsi is gonna solve there being a lady pope. But if they can make Doritos that certain women might actually enjoy, just because you don't know women that do want to eat them, or even men, because I said I'd be completely thrilled with eating Doritos where I could be nice and silent in a conference room, doesn't mean that Pepsi is wrong. So I'll be interested to see what Pepsi actually does come out here with here. What they said was the reporting on a specific Doritos product for female consumers is inaccurate by the CEO. The company said in a statement released on Monday night, we already have Doritos for women, I already read that. At the same time, we know needs and preferences continue to evolve, and we're always looking for new ways to engage and delight our customers. So if anything, I feel like Pepsi should run with this. I think they should take Lady Doritos and really make it into something great. I think that if they do sell Lady Doritos, they should send proceeds to like the Me Too movement, or something that actually helps empower women in the U.S. and underprivileged cities, or in other countries where women are are beaten or abused or anything like that. So make Lady Doritos a thing and make it so that it actually does good for women. But don't back down because certain people don't like the idea of a certain snack catering to women. This is ridiculous. So let's continue with the ridiculousness. The next thing I wanted to cover was, oh boy, I don't really like Quentin Tarantino that much anyway. I love Kill Bill, but after the recent allegations that he forced Uma Thurman to drive a car in an unsafe condition, my stock in Tarantino, what was there, just further went down. Water break. Or as Donald Trump does. So Quentin Tarantino was in an interview about Roman Polanski that resurfaced. He did an interview with Howard Stern, and I should start with this, Mr. Tarantino, and for anyone that does an interview with Howard Stern, if you want a future in anything, do not do an interview with Howard Stern. Don't do an interview with anyone who is notorious for having women half naked on their show. Because one thing is for sure, what you say eventually someday can and will be used against you. And the thing about Howard Stern interviews is the shock factor. When you go on a Howard Stern show, I'm pretty sure they want you to say like the most outrageous, crazy things because they know that's what gets ratings. So whether Tarantino meant it or not, is up for debate. I haven't heard from Quentin Tarantino himself. I haven't seen if he's apologized for these statements. But the fact remains, people go on Howard Stern's radio show to draw ratings, and they'll say really crazy, stupid things that don't make any sense, even if they don't mean it. I truly believe that. So here's what Tarantino said. He basically said, or they paraphrase it here in this BBC article. In a 2003 interview, the Pulp Fiction director downplayed an incident with Roman Polanski having sex with a 13-year-old, saying that it was not rape. Tarantino told Howard Stern the 13-year-old wanted to have it and was down to party with Roman. And to that I say, no, you never say anything like that about any woman. It doesn't even matter what their age is. You don't say that, Quentin Tarantino. And of course this was back in 2003, but no. This is career suicide. Polanski admitted unlawful sex with a minor in 1977 and served 42 days in prison before he fled the U.S. Tarantino, of course, has not responded to a request. Earlier, he did apologize for the crash Uma Thurman suffered while on set for the 2003 film Kill Bill. In the interview for the Howard Stern show, Tarantino discussed the Polanski case at length with Stern and co-host Robin Quivers. As part of a plea bargain, Polanski pleaded guilty to unlawful sexual intercourse with a minor, an offense that was previously known as statutory rape. And so here's what Tarantino says. He says he didn't rape a 13-year-old. It was statutory rape. That's not quite the same thing. He had sex with a minor, all right. That's not rape. And this just makes me want to flip my whole table here, but I know I got a computer here, a whole bunch of stuff. Why? Rape is rape, my friend. There's no way around it. Anything where you're forcing yourself upon someone else can be considered rape. So where are you getting this from, Quentin Tarantino? I don't understand it. So he says, to me, when you use rape, you're talking about violent, throwing them down. No. And here's a picture of Roman Polanski. So co-host Robin Quivers told Tarantino that Polanski's victim had been given psychoactive drugs. Polanski gave this 13-year-old Quaaludes and alcohol before being assaulted. How is none of this not rape? The director still denied the sexual encounter could be deemed a rape. So to that, this is where you ban, where you say, okay, I'm never seeing another Quentin Tarantino movie again. I hate the fact that now I have, Kill Bill movies. I hate the fact that I even loved it. Because this guy, again, I understand. You go on Howard Stern's show, you're going to say crazy things. You're going to say things that make people go, oh, wow. And I'm amazed that this didn't blow up as much as it did. But back in 2003, the internet wasn't really rolling like it was. And we didn't have access to a lot of these things. I don't even know who got access to this to bring it up and why they brought it up. But obviously, it's a good thing that they did. Because now we know that regardless of the situation, regardless of the form in which he was speaking, this is straight up creeper crap. Quentin? You just don't say that. So he went on, he said, I don't believe that's rape. I believe it's against the law. I don't believe it's rape. Not at 13, not for these 13-year-old party girls. And Quivers told Tarantino that Polanski could have avoided the situation by not socializing with 13-year-olds, to which the director responded, he likes girls. And it seems like Quentin Tarantino was just trying to do everything in his power to sound as creepy and as just disgusting as possible. So hopefully we never see Quentin Tarantino direct another movie again. Hopefully he is out of Hollywood just as much as, Weinstein and all the other creeps and just horrible men that have just abused or allowed abuses to happen in Hollywood. Hopefully he's done for good. So that's all I got to say about that. So to end, I want to end on a light note. I want to end with this. I want to end with some Black Panther stuff. As you all know, Black Panther comes out in 10 days. Here is a trailer, which,
I've never seen anything like this. How much more are you hiding? Oh, yeah. Let's go. We at home. My son, it is your time. You get to decide what kind of king you are going to be.
so I'll stop it there because I don't want to spend my remaining few minutes on this. I said stop and go back, but I don't think Black Panther is going to be that great. Unfortunately, Rotten Tomatoes, which I'm pretty sure Disney owns wholly, the tomato meter is 100% for this. 100%. And the critic consensus is Black Panther elevates superhero cinema to thrilling new heights while telling one of the MCU's most absorbing stories and introducing some of its most fully realized characters. And I just think this is a full load of crap. Do you know why? Because of The Last Jedi. Honors the saga's rich legacy while adding some surprising twists and delivering all the emotion-rich action fans could hope for. And look at the audience score. 48%. So I am not buying that Black Panther is going to be nearly as good as what the tomato meter here says. I'm not. I think it's going to be a very action-packed movie, but they have to tell this guy's entire story. And this is one of those, like, this should have been like Act 1 of the whole MCU. You know, when they introduced Iron Man and Thor and Captain America, this should have been Act 1. And granted, some of their most recent movies where like they introduced Doctor Strange, it was good, but I just can't see them getting this. I think that they're trying to boost the score mainly because of, you know, one, it's an all-black cast, so it's obviously it's going to be seen as a niche movie, or niche, however you say it. But I don't think it's going to get the same wide reception across all of America. For one good reason, because our president is a white supremacist, and there are a lot of people who have come out of the woodworks to say that they are as such, even if they don't say it outright. And there's already been talk that people are actually going to come onto the site and brigade it and try to knock the score down. So I think Disney is doing everything in their power to pay off people to say that this is going to be 100%. Now, withstanding that, please go out and see the movie. Go ahead and support the beautiful black actors and actresses that are in this, but don't expect to be amazed. Go in with really low expectations so that when you do leave the movie, I don't know, maybe you'll feel like this is actually a good movie. But I cannot see Black Panther being as good as I cannot see it being 100%. I will be very surprised if it is. Very surprised. So that's all I got. I covered a lot. There was a lot to cover today, but I had to get to it. I hope we get more images of Starman and outer space, because this nothing beats this. This just made my year thus far. So I'm glad you all joined me. Let me know what your thoughts are on SpaceX, the future of space flight, because this obviously ushers in a whole new, just so many more possibilities now. This is like the new age of space exploration to me. So let me know what you think about that. Let me know what you think about Star Wars and the Game of Thrones writers are coming on board. Let me know what you think about that. And Lady Doritos, should they be a thing? I think there needs to be Lady Doritos, and I think that the proceeds should go towards, you know, female empowerment programs. That's where it needs to go. And then tell me what you think about Quentin Tarantino. Is he done? Is he done in Hollywood for saying these ridiculous things? Granted, he didn't do any of them. Hopefully, we don't know. But just the fact that he said them, the fact that, you know, he supported this guy, and yeah, let me know what you think about that. And then let me know what your thoughts are on Black Panther. Is it going to be good, or is it going to go belly up and flop? Because Disney is pretty much buying the critics off to give good ratings. That's all I got for you. This is a longer video, but I'm glad you joined. I'm glad you watched, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace out.